The preliminary experiment was just on light.
Okay.
And what they determined,
was that light had no bearing on the actual...
which is wild.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture, where beer don't count, but bad decisions do. I'm Matt.
I'm Jason. I had to do some hand stuff too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Drew.
No hand stuff, Drew.
He had a beer in his hand.
He did have a beer in his hand there.
Wu-Tang?
Yeah.
That's Wu-Tang.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I was like,
he's doing little
what is like,
birds.
yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. Like, play with.
I was going to try to make it a little hard. I didn't know how I could.
I was going to wait for him to start like elevating, like
Shadow puppets.
I can do an elephant.
Shadow puppets. I used to do like a dinosaur or something.
Sure you did. Sure you did.
That's a gang sign. Somebody's going to come after you.
I was wondering why other guys were doing dinosaurs gang signs back to me with their red bandanas over the wrist. Yeah, they didn't make a lot of sense. So, how you guys doing?
Great. How about you?
Beer don't count, so I'm doing good. We have done multiple episodes on bourbon, talking about different places in bourbon. There is one thing that comes up multiple times on numerous occasions.
You're welcome.
And you're the one that brings it up. Which we've never been. You've never been there.
Never been. I want to go.
This is a little place called Aspen. No, I'm just kidding. This is called Warehouse X. At Buffalo Trace. And it dawned on me that there's a lot of people that don't know what Warehouse X is.
I'm one of those people.
You're one of those people. But it is a really cool thing. So I thought it would be cool also to tell everybody what Warehouse X is. Who doesn't know? Jason, do all of that for us.
There's a lot of yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down for this.
Yeah, I'm going to go take a dump. I'll see you all later.
I can talk. There is a lot of mystique around Warehouse X.
Right.
So we know a lot of things. There are a lot of data points they've collected throughout time being there. So think of
I
Warehouse.
like how you just threw out data points like it's
I did.
It's a very
That's just how I roll.
standard thing.
Yeah.
There's an x-axis and a y-axis.
I don't know. That's no data points.
Actually, this is the x-axis. This is the y-axis.
So
Well done, sir. Well done.
we're not good on the X and Y. We're just good at
maths,
Warehouse X. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think the idea kind of came from Warehouse X. So it's an experimental warehouse at Buffalo Trace.
Right.
From 2006, we had the tornado went through there.
Yeah.
The tornado
So-
didn't go through Warehouse X.
No, it went through Buffalo Trace.
Right.
Yeah.
So it took out a rickhouse.
Yeah, I think it was actually Warehouse C.
It was Warehouse C.
Right,
So
yeah.
Warehouse C tornado surviving bourbon is what we
Yeah.
have. So E.H. Taylor has a bottle of that. Worth a lot of money. I'd love to try it. Never have tried it.
Right.
But if anybody's got a sample, you send it to your boy.
But why was it so good? Why do people say it's so
Well,
good?
that's what they wanted to recreate and figure out why. Because when that tornado went through there, it didn't actually hurt the barrels, is what it looks like online.
Some of them, yeah.
At least most of them. Most of them made it. So the barrels that survived were open air for a while, right? So all the elements, all the tornado shit, after the tornado, they're still sitting there. So you had a lot of variables that made it good, that made it very good.
Okay, one question I have.
Yeah.
How long were those barrels sitting out before they were able to go out into the field and down into the river and pick them all back up? And...
Great question. Honestly, I don't see a timeline anywhere online because I had the same question.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so confusing is that like everything was kind of scattered. Not only the barrels, but also the information.
Yeah. Right.
How they got it. But the juice ended up
It's
being
not
so
confusing.
good.
Well, here's why. All bourbon information is scattered. Like
true.
Everything about bourbon is
True.
scattered. Like it's not. There's no linear page you can follow anywhere.
Very true, very true. But like in this specific incident, the juice ended up being so good. They were like, "What the hell happened?
Yep.
We need to figure it out." So they were like, "Let's create a product, quote unquote, which is the Warehouse, and see if we can examine every single principle that could affect that bourbon and turn it into something miraculous." That is Warehouse X.
So in 2013, 7 years after the tornado, that's when they wanted to go ahead and start constructing Warehouse X. Wheels turned a little slow, so seven years later,
Yeah.
But what Warehouse X is going to do, it's that they want to be able to monitor everything. They want to be able to control all the variables to figure out what's working, what's not. They have an inside and outside temps, barometer readings, and humidity. That's the things they're looking at mainly.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. So
also light.
That's right. There's a study on that
light
one too.
also, yes.
There is.
Yeah.
So there's 5 chambers
Did you
in
say
Warehouse
temperature?
6. I
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Temperature is actually the big one.
Yeah.
So 5 chambers inside of Warehouse 6. Each has different settings, different light levels, from 100% natural light to complete darkness. They're looking at all those effects of everything. There's 150 barrels is all they can have in Warehouse X total. That's nothing. That's nothing to Buffalo Trace.
No.
Total square footage is like 4,500 square feet.
I saw
think.
it, but I didn't write it down. But there's only 30 barrels in each like little area.
I think I saw 4,500 square foot.
Okay,
So you imagine like if somebody had
it's a big house.
a really nice house. 4,500 for a house that's pretty big. For a rick house, that ain't nothing.
That's nothing.
Well, one level, not multi-storied.
And to the people who have never been in a normal sized rick house,
Yeah.
those things are like
Yeah.
stories tall,
Yeah.
and deep and wide.
8, 9, 10 levels.
So
yeah.
they're basically creating rooms that are specific for
That's
these
it.
characteristics.
Yeah. And each room
has
has
a
its
different characteristic, right?
Where they
Well,
control.
multiple characteristics, right?
Multiple characters. They can assess different variables on each room. So they can. Well, I think what they're trying to do though is control it. So like they'll put all of them at the same temp.
Yes.
And then have 5 different settings of lighting, like different lights, what it does.
Exactly.
Open air,
So
whatever.
like they can monitor all the settings for each room, but they will vary in each one, so
Right.
that way they can determine.
So what's the factorial then on that? I used another math term after
It
the
is a
X and
math
Y
term, yeah,
axis.
yeah.
I wasn't very good at math, but don't confuse me.
So what were the variables you said? Temp, humidity,
barometer. So barometer is
Pressure,
and then humidity, and then light.
Light. So 4 variables, right?
Yep.
So then it's like
the 4 that I know of. There may have been more, but yeah, they
Right.
said they collected like 3.5 million data points on their first experiment or something. It's insane.
But it's you basically multiply. Isn't that like 4 by 4 by 4 by 4? Isn't that how you come up with like?
It seems like I'm looking at graph tables
that's the
now.
number-
Look at little
that's the
tables
number
But
now.
it,
variables,
it
right?
depends on how they do the experiments. They don't
Right.
run them all simultaneously. So
Yeah.
they actually did the preliminary experiment was just on light.
Okay.
They
And what they determined,
was that light had no bearing
yeah.
on the actual
Which is
aging
wild.
of the bourbon, which is
So
crazy.
they have thoughts that a barrel close to a window would age differently or taste
I have a
differently
story to this.
than somewhere else. But
Do you
it
know
was-
what that concept is? Where that concept came from? A barrel next to a like a window
Light
with light.
source.
The honey barrel.
Yeah.
You ever heard the idea of the honey barrel?
Well, yeah. So when I was not 21. Statute of limitations is.
I think at
expired.
this point everybody understands that we started drinking before
We're 21 now. It's all matters.
But I went to Buffalo Trace with
Yeah.
my dad to buy barrels
Yeah.
of Blanton's, and Elmer was still alive, but they rolled out a bunch of barrels.
That's cool.
And one of the barrels that my dad selected, because you get to pick which ones you want,
Right.
and we drank from, was one that had been sitting in a window.
Yeah. Yes,
And-
exactly. That's
and
it.
We noticed something different in this barrel.
Yep.
And we ended up, my dad ended up choosing it to be bottled for the stores, but they're saying that we thought that then because it was like maybe the heat plus or the temperature plus the sunlight,
So
because that can make a
everybody,
difference.
there's a lot of people that think that. And the whole concept behind the quote unquote honey barrel actually derived from certain barrels being exposed to daylight, natural UV radiation more than other barrels. Buffalo Trace did their Warehouse X. The very first experiment they did was to try to determine that, and they said it's buckus. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun crazy. So, what is not exposed to light and is still really good is Never Say Die Bourbon. That is our sponsor. We appreciate those guys. They're actually aged at sea for an indiscriminate amount of time. I don't really know how long.
They go to England for a little while.
Yeah,
hang
it
out
actually
over there, yeah.
gets on boats and they shake it
They
around.
get around.
Yeah, but we appreciate Never Say Die for
Thank
sponsoring
you.
us. Yeah, you can check them out and you can online neversaydieBourbon.com, I guess. Wow, I should probably know that before.
That seems very good. I think it is.
I might
actually.
cut all that out, but yeah, you can check them out in their most liquor stores you can get. So.
I think it goes back to like what you were saying, Drew. So you believe, and I kind of do too, that a barrel close to a window is probably going to taste different, right? It's
Right.
has a higher chance of being a honey barrel, but it goes back to this. It takes me back to where Wild Turkey. So Wild Turkey, I went on a tour there. I was probably 23, so it's been over 20 years ago.
Right.
That dates me a little bit. But anyway, Bruce Russell was actually our tour guide.
That's
which was
awesome.
pretty
That's
cool.
crazy.
Pretty cool, yeah.
That's really
It's
cool.
like his first job back in the States with them, whatever.
That's
But
cool.
one thing they looked at there is that all the science. So when Wild Turkey did their big not rebranding, but expansion, everything's computerized. Everything's like a NASA station back then, 20 years ago, right? Like all this stuff. But the one thing, all the computers would say, this is your perfect profile for your bourbon. This is what it is now. This is what these barrels are now. This matches. This is perfect. Jimmy, the master distiller, would try them and say, no.
Garbage.
That's not it at all. Like, that's off. So it never could replicate exactly what he wanted. So I think there's some of this too, right? So Warehouse X can give you all the X's and O's.
Right.
But it can't give you the human aspect of that palate.
There's
going to be some error.
This has really been the crux of the bourbon industry. Probably, I guess, whiskey in general, in my opinion, is that the overarching belief is that you can't just put everything in a machine and make it perfect. You can't just like run everything through an algorithm and get exactly what you want. And that is really what has made bourbon, even Scotch, other comparable spirits so endearing.
It's romantic.
Is that it is romantic. That's a great word for it. It makes it feel so much more personal. It makes it feel like something you want to get in touch with. It's authentic.
What's true craft?
Yeah, it's artisanal.
I'm not never be able to replicate this again no matter what I do.
No.
You know?
So what Buffalo Trace was trying to do is they were saying, well, you know what? Let's see how far we can go with this. So Warehouse X, and it's 4 chambers, and I'll just go ahead and tell you real quick.
5 chambers.
5 chambers because it's like, imagine a big square.
Wasn't that a Wu-Tang album?
36 chambers.
36, same thing.
That's a few more.
Yeah.
But imagine a big square, right? So you got chamber A, chamber B, chamber C, chamber D, and a breezeway in the middle.
Okay.
Basically a hallway that kind of connects everyone. There's windows where you can see into the different chambers.
What
They use the breezeway also to age their barrels.
you would think so.
So that's called, it's almost like a control.
Right.
These are standard conditions. That's their control area for like just normal Kentucky conditions
So,
in the age.
People who don't know, have not been in a rick house. It's like wide open, and they use steam to control temperature, top and bottom, and all that stuff.
Sure.
But
But the elements are just like
correct. What do each of those rooms? How are they enclosed? Do we know?
I've
It's-
never seen it. This is one place I want to go. I've been on a lot of tours of Buffalo Trace. I've never seen Warehouse X. I hope one day to see it.
I've seen pictures.
Okay.
I Googled it and I saw pictures. It's
brick.
standard.
It's a brick,
It's
right?
brick. It's standard construction. So I imagine, again, I've not been there, and I don't see much comment on the actual construction of it, but I've seen the way it's shaped. But it's essentially just brick on the outside, and I think it's brick on the inside. It isn't the breezeway anyway.
Okay.
Standard insulation. I think it's just probably standard insulated, but it's like we're in a house.
Yeah.
We can control the temperature pretty
Relatively,
acutely.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we want to set if I want to set the thermostat to 72, it's going to stay at 72. It's going to have to keep circulating or whatever. So,
Well, and the temperature upstairs, depending on where your thermostat
Right.
is going to be a little bit higher.
and this
than-
is one story. So
Right,
it's
exactly.
everything is going to be uniform, more or
Consistent.
less to what they want. But
Okay.
the breezeway is not controlled. So this is more or less open to the elements. I did not see
open
how
air? So-
they were.
Well, you
it's
can
in the
see it
middle.
there, and I'll show the camera in just a second.
Okay.
So this is Warehouse X.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty small. Based
It's
on
very
like,
small.
Yeah.
It's very, very small.
It's like I'm
Compared to a
pretty
normal
sure I've
warehouse.
lived in a duplex bigger than that. You know, like,
And I saw like the size that I saw was 4,500 square feet, and then I
Yeah.
saw the picture and I was like,
looks smaller than
that
that.
don't even
Yeah.
look like that. Looks like 1,500 square feet. But like the breezeway says, it's more or less open conditions, which is typical of most rig houses. So I'm guessing it's just maybe there's like a window. You know what I mean? And they just like
Well, there's
leave it open.
skylights on 4 of the
They got
chambers.
skylights
So
too, yeah.
the 5th one must be the
I thought
open
the
air one.
shape was weird.
It is
so like,
weird.
did you show that
Slanted.
to the camera?
I did.
It's like a
I did.
sloped
Yeah.
roof.
And so you got to figure the ones up in the back will be a little bit warmer than the ones down
Well,
front
the
of bottom,
architect that designed it apparently compensated for that. And the way he shaped it was supposed to keep everything even based on I guess the typical like weather patterns of that area. Like they took
Like
all
south facing.
exactly. They
versus-
took all that into consideration. Yeah, it's fucking very wild. Yeah. So the first experiment they did was light, and they were like, you know what? Light has nothing to do with it. But then what did they do? What did they figure out after that?
I don't know.
Oh, temperature.
Sorry. Temperature.
Yeah.
Yes, temperature. Of course,
That was
temperature.
an awesome segue.
Yeah.
You were supposed to pick that
Oh,
up.
I got that. Yeah, temperature. Hotter is better. Maybe.
So what they figured out is that temperature actually has an incredibly drastic effect on it. Temperature and pressure. Which is
So you think of a tornado, though, what'd you have there? You had temperature increase, decrease, pressure.
Low pressure.
Yeah,
right,
everything going crazy.
Yeah.
So
But here's the thing I wonder about the tornado. That's also a very short period of time, like what, a minute, 2 minutes, right? Where it's experiencing.
but
those elements.
you probably had change condition up to that and after too.
Yeah, but I mean that's like maybe a couple of days, right? Like in the course of how long you're aging this bourbon, it's crazy to me that they think, oh well.
I just thought of this. Maybe the barrels went to Oz and then
they
came back.
That's exactly what it was.
Dude, that's a game changer right there.
I don't know why nobody's actually
figured
thought
out.
of that. Like, in the episode, that's done. Yeah.
I need some Ruby Ritz.
Just click your heels together and we're done. So there is some science behind that. Some distilleries, one in particular, I can't remember the name of it.
I can probably tell you.
They took this idea and they tried to turn it into a maybe a marketing thing, maybe an actual scientific aspect of their bourbon making. But they wanted to get into accelerated aging. Lost something.
Oh yeah.
Well, you had Jefferson's that did the ocean stuff, right?
So that's a different thing.
Different.
That's
I mean, still though, they try to like recreate weird conditions.
But what I'm talking
you have
about,
Bespoken Spirits, who does like an
yes,
rapid aging.
Bespoken Spirits is another one. There was two of them. That was the second
That's here in
one.
Lexington, Kentucky.
And they're still operating. The first one that originated this process went out of business. But the idea was that you use pressure and heat and you bombard the barrel, and that pressure and heat actually makes it expand, contract, back and forth, and it causes the bourbon inside to
In and out of the wood,
and the wood to become more porous.
Yeah.
So it goes in and out. And the whole idea of aging bourbon is that over seasons it does that naturally. Correct. So they were trying to accelerate that. Yeah. Their original claim was that they could take a bourbon that was, I think, 6 months to a year old, make it taste like something that was over 20 years old. Yeah. It was a big claim.
So what I've heard from that too, from people that know more than I do about it, is that you could recreate the part of the taste, right? You could get the oakiness maybe. You couldn't get the depth.
Could get a nuance.
You couldn't get all that concentration. You think of a 20-year-old barrel, it's when you put in there's 55 gallons, whatever it is. When you pull it out, there's probably 20, maybe. You know what I mean?
Depending how long it's sitting.
But they're putting 55 in and taking 54 and a half out. You know what I mean? Like it's
the angel share is
yeah. The angel's not needs a little more. Needs a little more thirsty.
Angel's like, I'm thirsty, man.
Damn,
you gotta give me a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, and you also think that if you were just going to allow things to age naturally, right? Mm-hmm. We have 12 seasons here in Kentucky, but
exactly.
Really, there's 4, right? So you got to think, okay, well, if they're going to expose those barrels to heat for 6 months, right? So that wood's going to open a little bit, right? Yeah. So it's got 6 months to develop flavor, and then it's going to contract for 6 months, and it's going to do that for multiple years. I just don't understand how you can possibly
get all that out.
You can't contract
again, though. Science tells you can. But the human palate says
you cannot.
It's not the same. Right. Like maybe molecular, like it's the same, but not taste wise. It's not there.
But I see what you're saying though. It's like
100%.
Even if you could contract and expand and get that much perforation of the medium into the wood in a shorter period of time, over the lengthened period of time, there's going to be different characteristics developed. By default, because it is spending more time in that condition during that period.
I think about like cooking something in a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
It might take 30 minutes versus something you put in a pot and let it sit for 6 hours or whatever. Like
no depth.
That's different.
There's no depth.
You can tell a difference, you know? And so that's the thing I'm interested in though is from what they're doing with those, what they're doing in Warehouse X. When are we going to start to experience some of or even hear about it?
It's a perfect question. So what they're releasing in that is experimental collection. So you'll see little 375s. They're like little miniature kind of Buffalo Trace bottles, have a white label on them.
Don't release them. They say experimental.
They do.
Yeah.
They say BTEC, Buffalo Trace Experimental Collection. We've had one or two on the show. One of them was a beer barrel aged. Remember that one we had on here?
Maybe.
It's been a while back.
They go like
they go quick. They're a small run, but now none of them have been great in the past couple years. But the first few they released, a lot of people say they're really good. I've just never had them. They go for quite a bit of money. I'm sure. And again, they're $375s.
Well, so what they ended up doing with Warehouse X is taking that concept and they're like, we may be onto something here. They expanded it into something bigger. It's called Warehouse P. Mm-hmm. But you say...
I've been to Warehouse P.
You've been to Warehouse P. He actually went on a tour of it.
Yep. So we did a barrel pick there, Buffalo Trace barrel pick with our my beer group, the locals. Thanks, Merv, for inviting me. But also, screw you, Merv, because you didn't take
not going to Warehouse X and going to Warehouse P. Damn it.
Take a left at the X.
They're like, whatever warehouse you want to go to. I'm like, X. X comes up in my mind's X. He goes, let's go to P. I'm like, damn it. It was still very cool. So Warehouse
all
P.
the warehouses in all the world.
Oh, yeah, you had to go to this
So Warehouse P was decent size. I mean, I say standard size rickhouse. But the main attraction to Warehouse P is a cooler, essentially. Like a walk-in cooler. It's the biggest walk-in cooler you've probably been in. But when you walk in, there's like parkas.
It's biggest Warehouse X.
It's bigger than Warehouse X. Right?
Really? Yeah.
There's parkas hanging on the side. Like, seriously, it's cold. So what the theory is there, what they told us. So we had Freddie Johnson as our tour guide, who's the man at Buffalo Trace. But anyway, walk in there. All this whiskey in there with us, all this bourbon is old. So what they're doing is they're taking Eagle Rare 17. That's an antique collection release. They're taking that at 12 years old, let's say, pulling it in there, letting it age in that warehouse, and pulling it out at 17. Or maybe it's a Pappy 25. They're putting in there at 18 years old, pulling it out 7 years later and doing Pappy 25. So the theory behind it is, their theory was they didn't want to, what was it, how'd they phrase it? I think it was they wanted to keep the product more whole, I guess, in that place.
Okay.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, all you wanted to do was cut down the angel share.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying to get more yield on a barrel that's a premium barrel. So a 25-year-old barrel, you might have 80% loss. But if you put in a temp-controlled cooler for the last 7 years, you might have a 60% loss.
Yeah.
That 20% is huge if you're looking at
money. That's big
$1,000
bucks.
bottles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the wood's not going to absorb nearly as much.
But that's what they're doing. Everything in there, they're like, I mean, I'd hate to see the value of that warehouse. Of that cooler we were in, that warehouse.
That's where Eagle Rare 25 came out,
That's right.
right?
Double Eagle, very rare.
Yeah.
The old Rip 23, the 25, and whatever else they had past that. Like, I mean, all the really high end ultra aged Buffalo Trace is there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool, but it's a walk in cooler. That's all it is.
The whole warehouse?
No.
Oh,
but
okay. I was
the
gonna say,
part that has the premium shit.
Okay,
In it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
The other part of it was just standard. I don't know why. Like, we didn't even tour it. It was just there. So
I'd actually be curious to see the rest of it, to see what else they're doing there, because from what I understand, it is a grown-up version of X, so they got to be doing something else where
maybe there's a different heating system in there or something. I do remember it looked to be inside it was all brick. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember in my mind. It's been a few years back, a few bourbons ago too.
Right, yeah. No, it sounds like, because when you're adapting and controlling for those specific issues like pressure and stuff like that, I wonder if there was an aspect of some of those. Did they have different chambers in there to where maybe they could have been? Because it's hard to just add controlled pressure in a standard room.
Pressure is the hardest thing out of those to control.
Exactly. Now, you could probably do it in a cooler of all places, maybe. But I mean, if you're just like standardizing,
it wasn't pressurized. I mean,
if you're standardizing that though, well, it's hard to, especially if you open it and go in there.
Well,
but if you're standardizing that, like, I feel like that takes away from a lot of the aspect of what makes aging valuable.
It's the romanticism part of it.
It is.
Yeah.
And it goes back to
also
what we were
palate,
saying.
like your taste, right?
Right, but it goes back to what we were saying. It's just like trying to create an aspect of accelerated aging. You're trying to cheat, but everybody knows that it's not possible. Are they still trying to do that?
They are. I'd rather them cheat that way though than try to go the no
scientific
offense,
route. We're like
scientific route of like aging 20-year-old bourbon in 6 months. Like that ain't working. The other one, I mean, it could. I mean, the whole goal of Warehouse P quoted this to test if it was possible to extend favorably both the aging and maturation process. So it's a testing ground for extended aging. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace the only distillery we know that's doing this?
It's the only one that I know of officially.
That has
I can't
an actual
imagine
warehouse.
there's got to be others that are.
I think
I bet Bardstown Bourbon Company might have some. I mean, totally guess. I bet MGP might. Hell, I don't know.
So I think Buffalo Traces is the most publicized. Warehouse X has kind of taken on a whole entity or an ideal of its own.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the big players are all doing this to some degree.
Yeah.
It's just they don't have
right?
they just don't have a formal label on it and any marketing behind it.
Buffalo Trace has essentially unlimited funds at this
Correct.
point. I mean,
that was sort of my point,
Yeah.
is that they can throw whatever they want to at this.
like everybody else in this time right now is pulling back, cutting jobs or like quitting hiring. Buffalo Trace
They're buying half
expanding.
of Kentucky.
They have Jurassic Park doors on the backside of the damn thing. Like seriously, we took a picture there. It took them like a minute and a half to open the door. I'm like, it's huge. I'm like, that big wooden doors, I'm like,
There's a Ford Explorer on like a train track just like going through. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna call Mulder and Scully.
Right.
There's something here,
into it.
They're not just aging bourbon, bitch. They're fucking creating aliens
Buffalo
and
Trace
monsters.
has missed the mark though. You can either see "I believe" and then Warehouse X on the back. You know what I
That'd
mean?
be fucking
With a little
great, yeah.
Buffalo Trace logo.
Yeah, or I
You
want
heard
to
it here
believe
first.
Dude, I want cut of that royalty right there.
That's pretty good. That's good, man. You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Guys, if you like this, then please share it. For more Arsenic Culture, you can check us out on all the socials. We are at Arsenic Culture.
Like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll see you on the next one.